Welcome. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I do a chopping of a loop with the Roland P-6. So all you need is the Roland P-6 sampler, a laptop or a Mac. Then one thing important is that your Roland P-6 must not have the Aira link enabled. So once you have disabled that, you can connect with USB-C and power on the Roland P-6. And once that's the case, then you can see, if you can see the digital audio interface being reflected, then you are all good to go. And by reflected, I mean that in this case, it's a Windows 10 PC. It has the Roland P-6 as its principal audio interface. All right, so now my setup is ready. And I have my loop file here. This is actually taken from an old computer music sample DVD from 2015. And as you can see, there is this here number indicating the BPM of this loop. So here's 174. What I usually do when I have such a file is that I always verify the accuracy of the BPM. So I'm using here a DAW. In this case, I'm using region. Important is that I set exactly the same BPM here. I'm taking my file, drag and dropping, and just play this in loop. Okay, so what we can see is that it's actually pretty accurate. There is no glitch, there is no interruption. So I'm good to go. And now, of course, the beauty of having a direct USB-C connection to the P6 is that I don't have to care about any, digital to analog or direct analog connection. Everything goes through USB-C. And my sampler, the P6, will trigger on the just on playing this loop here from my PC. So what I'll do is that I will check for freeing a pad. Okay. Now, in terms of the sampling settings, I'm usually sampling mono using 2 bars. And then for the trigger level, -9 dB works well for me. Okay. So now what I will do is that I will arm my sampler. And when it's in standby, all it's waiting is actually a source to be triggered. And we will just play the loop again. And the sampler will capture this loop in memory. So let's do that. Right, so now it's normalizing. It's writing. And let's have a listen. This is capturing the P6 now. So what I can immediately do in the P6 is that I can set a loop. The loop itself will loop around the length of the recorded sample, and we know it's 2 bar at 174 BPM. So I play it again. Sweet. That's all great. So now we have this sample. Now, of course, with this sample, I will say that this is fine. Let's assume we stay on this BPM and it will play correctly. But what will happen if we change the BPM? Then obviously the sample will end or will stop before actually looping back. So this is where we need to slice the sample to make it, playable at different BPM. All right, so now my sample is here. And let's try to play it simply with the sequencer. So first thing I need to do is that I need to set the duration of my pattern to match the duration of the number of bars that I've recorded. In this case, I'm just going to shift last, and you can see 16, I have to put it at 32 because I have 2 bars. Okay, so once this is done, I'm just selecting the first step, and the first step basically triggers the sample, let the pattern runs, and then, you know, we'll re-trigger again and again. So let's have a listen. Okay, so again here everything's fine. Now, of course, if I change my BPM, put a lower BPM, yeah, we can clearly hear an interruption, which is expected. If I was to go higher, we'll see it's cutting before the end. Okay, so now it's the point here is to slice it so that instead of playing just the loop from beginning to end, we will just slice it in 32 different steps that will be played one after the other, and this way we will be able to change the BPM and even the pitch of the loop without, you know, affecting how it's perceived. So I'm just going to here on this sample, voice chop setting 32 slices. Okay, so now this is done. All I have to do is actually trigger each slice, and each slice actually is one note. The next slice is one note above in the keyboard, then C sharp, then D, then so on. So here, putting slice 2, slice 3. So here I reach the limit of my keyboard. I am at the second C, I mean the upper C, and all I need to do is, I mean, put the keyboard one, and then you can see my 13th step is here. So now it's my 14, 15, and so on, until I reach step 25. And again, I have to increase my keyboard. Oh, all good. Now I have spread all my 32 slices across all the notes of the range of the keyboard. And now let's do that. Putting back the keyboard to where it was, and let's have a listen. And now, if I change my BPM, go higher, you can see that it continues to play without interruption. And I can either lower the pitch or put it higher. You can go down in BPM. Now, we can hear that if we go very, I mean, to some extent, if we can go very lower, and if the pitch is also changed, there will be this kind of, you know, interruption. Now it's better. But if I go very low in BPM compared to the 174, yeah, this is because the slice continue to be recorded at the same, you know, they were slight as 174, so there is, you cannot really go a range above and below that is too high, but still it allows for fine adjustment around 174. You could go to 170, 180, or so on. So yeah, it's a good way, because in fact the P6, I will say my only complaint about this sampler, it's a fantastic machine, but it lacks time stretching. So it lacks time stretching. That we have slicing. It's a way, you know, to adjust the U loops, but it's not perfect. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And by the way, if you have another way to do the slicing, if you know other tricks, please don't hesitate, because I'm still learning. And thanks also if you can subscribe to my channel. That would be very great. Thank you, and I see you next time.